Hello and welcome to another episode of Love Revolution. I'm your host, Mia Saenz, and sitting next to me, as you can see her lovely face, is Christine Miskinis. And isn't she beautiful? I just love this woman. She makes me smile. You know, there's certain people in the world that make you giggle just because they radiate so amazingly well, and Christine is one of them. She makes me giggle all the time when I see her in the news feeds or everywhere. So before I bring her and welcome her on, I want to remind you to hit pause if you need to get your pens, your paper, relax, get your drink, get all cozy, and then hit the clicker again to unpause us. And this is Christine Miskinis, and we are honored to have her here. She's a rocket out woman. She's amazing. She helps women discover their voice, their power, their confidence, and I just love her. So welcome, Christine.
Thank you, Mia. It's always a pleasure to be with you and to be in the sacred space that you hold, and I'm really excited to connect with your viewers today.
Thank you. It's lovely to have you here, but I'm not sure why I'm getting all teary-eyed.
Aww.
It's beautiful to have you. So would you share with us a little bit about you and Rock It Out before we have you teach our lovely class that we're all excited about?
Absolutely, yes. So I basically began this transformational journey when I healed myself or I allowed my body to heal itself of a precancerous condition that I had in growing up into my esophagus. And, it was this experience of really learning how to live life as a feminine being in the world and stop pushing, fighting, forcing my way because I wanted to be powerful, strong, and independent. And I always had this desire to rock it out, to fully feel the world and my experiences. And of course, I am an empath, and so feeling the world meant that sometimes it became too much for me because I was so sensitive. So rocking it out really became, how do you embrace the world? How do you not avoid the pain, but feel all of the emotions, and then actually, know how to express yourself outwardly in the world so that you're shining and flowing and glowing and laughing and rocking it out without any of that backlash stuff that happens, right? So that's how Rock It Out Woman, it's like that energy of, yeah, rock it out, woman. You see another sister, another woman in her power, it's like, rock it out, woman. Yeah, that's the energy of that.
That's awesome. And that's really women who are in their divine beauty power. When we feel like that is, there's nothing better or more glorious, is there? Yeah. And to be able to pull it up, even when we're not feeling super duper, just to be able to pull it up and bring it back into who we are is magnificent. I love that. Okay, great. So would you like to teach us?
Yeah, absolutely. So teaching is my favorite thing. Great. So we're going to learn how to reconnect in the body to your feminine essence, to your voice, and really be in your power. So a lot of people today, Mia, are talking about, well, it's time to embody it. We see these women out there, whether they're rock stars or just powerful women, in their power. Like, why is that so attractive to us? And what does that even mean for us? And so for many of us, we feel this innate, like, feminine energy that lives within us, that fuels us, right? It might feel like nurturing, singing, dancing, sensuality, pleasure, all of this that we do so naturally as women. Whether you're a mother or not, you have this intuition, you have this deep compassion. And so embodying that would mean that being connected to the source and also being grounded to the earth at the same time. So I'm going to, I just want to give a little bit of a backstory about that, and then we can get into some practices in what that means, how that feels for each woman, right? So, as I said in my story, and each woman that's listening, each person listening, you can feel into this for yourself. Where in your life does this fit in? because when you can put your attention there, you can actually start to transform those places. And that's the whole message behind this today. So for me, when I was going through my whole pre-cancer stuff, like I said, I had this dream of being on stage, of being visible, of sharing a message, of sharing and expressing my voice. And then I had this other idea about how a woman was supposed to behave, what it meant to be successful, what that looked like. And because I didn't see a lot of that happening around me in a divine feminine, I saw a lot of masculine structures, and that was the way of the world, and that's what we were going through. And I didn't know how to put myself in that place and be successful. So if you're watching this today and you're asking yourself, you're feeling like I desire to sing and dance and really embody my power, but there's other obstacles that I keep bumping against, then this is a practice that you can actually do for yourself. You can do it daily. It only takes a few moments, and yet once you go here, you'll want to stay forever. Because being in the body, rocking it out as a woman really requires you, again, to know yourself. So ask yourself, journal, spend some time writing. How well do I know myself? What are my deepest desires? And what am I ready to say yes to? You can bring all of that into the space when you do this meditative dance, so to speak. So we're going to just get nice and grounded and centered. And I know Mia knows how to do this too. And we all have our own flavor. So don't get too caught up in what I'm doing. You can listen to my voice. You can just close your eyes and really make it your own. So as I'm speaking to you, just take nice long inhales and extra long exhales. And do this a few times and go at your own pace. And really, this is about slowing down and collecting yourself to land in this space. As you keep breathing nice and deeply, I want you to notice how your breath is exchanging with life. And can you find that place of a deeper flow of an in and out exchange with life? Now you can spend time paying attention to your breath, which is very important because it is an indication of how you're actively exchanging in every moment. Are you breathing deeply? Are you breathing and then stopping and then letting out an exhale? Pay attention to where your energy is and what you're open to, and just get into a nice flow, a steady breathing pattern of in and out, and in and out, until you're almost doing it in a cycle. Deep belly breaths so that your shoulders are not rising and falling, but your belly is expanding and contracting. And next, I'd love for you to imagine that you have a magnet in the center of your head, and that your head is actually on a hinge, and you can reach around and open up the hinge of your head. And when you do that, you turn on this magnet and you can feel it vibrating right in the center of your head. And now with that magnet turned on, you can call back all your energy that you've deposited in people, places, things. And so you just call all that energy home to be with you. And your energy actually wants to be with you. So as it comes floating and swiftly just returning to you, it's actually fueling you. So you feel it coming back into your body. Allow it to come down into your body and allow it to expand in your body. just like a hand filling out a glove. Yeah, and then you can feel this power of your energy. It's all you, right here, right now. You don't need to get any place. You don't need to do anything. This is the power of you. Beautiful. And so as you just allow that to keep happening, let it come to completion. And feel yourself filling out your cavity, filling out even down to your legs, to your ankles, your feet, your toes, and your shoulders, your arms, your elbows, your wrists, your fingers. Really feel the fullness. Invite all of you to be here. And next you want to imagine a beautiful golden stream of light about 12 to 16 feet from above your head. And let that just come down right into the center of that magnet and rinse right down through your whole body, your whole system, and down and out right through your feet, again to be recycled by the earth. So this is divine, source, God, universal energy, and you just allow it to come and flow right through you. And what this does is it clears up anything that might be in your way, in your space. It's every cell of your body just drinks up this divinity. It revitalizes you. It re-energizes you. It clears away anything that you've been carrying around that might not be yours and just rinses it right through your space. The energy of life. And so you can feel that. And then finally, you'll connect to some type of a grounding connection. So it can look like a cord that's about the width of your hips. And it goes all the way down deep into the earth, and it locks right into the center of the earth. So it anchors you in, it holds you here. It's so powerful. You feel the support as you're sitting on the chair, on the floor. You feel the power underneath you. And if you're sitting with your feet touching the floor, you can next imagine that you can breathe in through the soles of your feet. And if you're not sitting with your feet, if you're sitting like Indian style on the ground, you can imagine pulling in the earth energy through your yoni, up and all the way in. So you can actually breathe in the source energy, Mother Earth. And allow it to come all the way up, right about to your hips, and then cycle right back around and down and back into the earth to be recycled. Beautiful. And next, you can just come back to this time and space, to that place right behind your eyes. And you can open your eyes. And for a moment, as you just recollect yourself and you're looking around, pay attention, look around, see things with your eyes and notice what you see and notice how it looks and if it looks different than it did before. So anytime we forget who we really are in this world, we can easily remember. Our power is so strong. And sometimes it just requires this type of attention and focus to collect ourselves.
You're a magnificent guide.
Thank you. So, from this space, did you have a question?
No, I'm just saying that was awesome. Sorry.
Yeah. So, it's really to be in love with ourselves and to really be present with ourselves. It's like so many times we want to feel love. And so we look for that outside of ourselves, within other people, hearing somebody say, I love you. And the truth is, to look outside of ourselves is really to feel a certain lack within ourselves. So once we get very clear on, wow, I am love, that means I am love, and love flows through me, and I share love, but there's never a lack of love. And there's never a lack of power or energy either. So we can choose to give the power away. We can choose to silence ourselves. We can choose to play small in life. We can choose to play it safe, which is the same. Or we can choose to shine. We can choose to be the woman in this moment. There's no, oh, you're not there yet. There's no, oh, but I need to do this. There's no, I need to learn how first. You are. And the statement is, I am. I am now. And if you forget and you need to remember your power, do this exercise every day before you decide to share yourself with others, before you decide to express yourself outwardly. So as I was saying, when you go into this place and you connect to your power, you can ask any question and you will receive answers. You will receive guidance. And they'll be small and they'll be quiet and gracious. And from that place, you can take action. You can take massive action. You can go off powerfully and say, yeah, this is what I'm going to do today. Even if it's suspend all activities that I had on my calendar and go hang out with my grandmother. I did it last week. I mean, it's whatever is being called. And I get so emotional when I say this because it's the truth of what you feel. And nobody can really know that except for you. And that's how powerful you are. So, loves, this is the place where you are a woman. And if I share anything with you today, it's that you are no longer the child. You are the woman. And you get to be the woman. You get to be the mother, the daughter, the spouse, the lover, the business, feisty, fiesta, sensual, mamacita, like you get to be it all. And being it all, it does not mean having it all either. It just means that you be who you are here to be. And let go of anything else that you are holding on to. Let go of anything else that no longer serves you. Start saying yes to you. Because everything else you want, everything else you see, everything else you love, everyone else you love, benefits when you are fully this woman. This woman that you are also has a secret power. It's a power that has been silenced in society. I mean, we have allowed this to happen, right? There has been so much that has gone before us. We can talk about slavery, we can talk about anything like that, and really, woman has really endured great pain. And we're still carrying that. As archaic as that feels, there's this generational stuff, this lineage stuff that's being carried on that we still possess. And this is a new day. It's a new day. 2015, moving forward, whenever you're watching this, this is a whole new world that we can awaken the woman. And the secret that I said that the woman has, that I believe the woman has, is her voice. It is this expression that is missing in our world. And it's there, right? There is no lack, so it's there. It's just we've allowed it to be quiet. And the time and our evolution, perhaps that's what was required. Everything is perfect anyway. So there's no blame and there's none of that. That's all done. We don't even need to know why. All we need to do is commit to being true to ourselves, to sharing ourselves with the world and sharing our voices. Because no one can ever hurt us or harm us or shame us or blame us when we do this for ourselves. And the more that we share our voices, this feminine voice, the more collectively we unite. And let me just tell you this. When I spoke of healing, my allowing my body to heal, I was connected to this holistic lifestyle. And, the body, mind, spirit, the whole nutrition and food and all these other dynamics that I never knew about. That I grew up in a world that was so driven, by the Western medicine and all this stuff about fixing and just cut off something or cut it out or take a drug, or I was part of that. And then with my own healing, I discovered truth. And when I discovered this truth, it was like nobody could stop me. I would stay up late at night and I would research and learn, and I started immersing myself with other women who were called holistic moms. And I wasn't a mom yet, but I was looking at these women and I was saying, oh my goodness, these women were fierce. I mean, fierce. And, Facebook was new. And so this internet, social stuff was fairly new. There was some stuff going on, but it was more of for the younger crowds and all this other stuff. But these holistic moms, these were moms whose children had been hurt and suffered. And, something had happened. And then they went out on their quest to discover truth, because they were not going to accept the status quo. They were not going to accept that their children were going to have to live life differently or in pain or anything like that. And so the fierce mama bears were coming out, and it was almost like this underground railroad stuff in 2000s, happening behind the scenes. And I was so ignited by this because I was preparing to conceive a child, and there was nothing more sexy, sensual, exciting, lovable. And what happened was these women started emailing each other all times of night, this is happening, oh, try this, that just happened, okay, do you know this? I can connect you to this one. You can? Yes. And did you ever read this? And then there's this. And we hear it, love, being seen, heard, support. But if I ever felt it in my life, it was from these women. I felt connected to a power so great. And then I was part of it because I believed in it, because I seen it, I witnessed it, and I got so fueled by it. My soul was like, yes, yes, yes. And these women's voices, what then happened was, if something happened with a doctor or something happened and somebody, then another mama bear would come in and it would be like, you say, speak your truth, share your message, go out there, tell your doctor this. Here's what you need. Here's the literature. Here are the words when you don't have your own. Here is my story when you don't have your own. Stand in this, join my hand, and we'll walk in this path together. And I was I couldn't even comprehend it, but I was so in love with it. And as I began working with mothers, and then just intimately the woman, I was like, this is what every woman could have available to her. You know, because I was still in those lingering spaces of, well, you don't say that, you don't dress like that, someone's going to tell you that you're a bitch, someone's going to say that you're stuck up, somebody's going to say that, who do you think you are, step back and sit down, listen to your doctor, what are you, crazy? But I had a story. So when I teach you how to connect to your power, I want you to also know your voice is meant to be expressed, and you have a story, and you probably have multiple stories. But start with one. Start with that deep story. For me, it was this one of, regaining my power and stepping outside of the box and hearing my inner voice. So, Mia, would it be okay if I share a little bit of, I keep saying my story. But
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay. I feel like I share this story so much, and it's just something that wants to come out. So,
Good.
thank you. So, what happened with me was I always had this love for theater and singing and being on stage and expressing myself in that way, right? I thought it was through the arts. It is, of course, through the arts. But growing up, it was like, yeah, I want to be in performing arts and be on stage. And so that was the direction that I was led in. I sang, I was on stage, I was on television as a small child. People would often say to me, oh, you're so beautiful. I got that so much. I did modeling, and I had judgment on it. And I'm going to tell you why I had judgment on it. Because I saw people that weren't beautiful, that had a lot of pain because of it. And so when somebody flagged me as, well, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, it felt really flat to me. It felt to me, I remember saying to myself, thank you for saying you think I'm beautiful, and I had no control over this. This is how I came into the world, I didn't get to pick this nose, these eyes, the eyelashes, the hair. And so, I feel like to say I'm beautiful is maybe something that, now looking back on it, I feel like I did probably select the way that I would look so that I could, express who I am. But then I would always just feel like it was flat. And so I shied away from the media. And as I stepped into the media more, I saw that it wasn't really authentic. But I desired to be on stage. I knew I was authentic, so I was just going to go there anyway, right? So I started doing that. But life for me was very difficult to digest physically. So as a baby, I came into the world very colicky, and I had a lot of digestive stuff, and they said I was sensitive and maybe that I worried, and nobody could figure it out back then. And at the age, so what I started to doing was I started teaching, because I always loved children. I always loved to teach. So I had a career of teaching, and I also had my theater and acting. And I did both all the time, simultaneously sometimes. And those are my passions that fueled me. But life felt hard because life, the way I was experiencing it, was everything was happening to me. So people that knew me would say, Christine, I can't believe that you're always so sick. I would never know it. Just from seeing you, you don't look sick, you don't act sick, and then I see you eat something and you're in the bathroom, and oh my gosh, poor Christine. And so I would say, yeah, poor Christine, I have this black cloud over my head, and these things, I just haven't been dealt a bad deck. But I'm going to fight. I'm an independent woman. I'm going to fight, push. I'll figure this out. I'll conquer this life. I'll kick some ass, right? I was like, I'm going to do it because I have big dreams. I have big vision. I have a big soul that wants to get out there. So I'm going to do whatever I need to, whatever it takes. 24, I find myself in the doctor's office, and I was ending up in the hospital 3 times a month with these episodes that would last for probably 12 to 16 hours. I would be crawling on the floor. Nothing would come out of me, but I couldn't stand up. I was in so much pain. My stomach would literally go, and you could see it moving. It felt like it was going to explode or implode. I would be so frightened that I would call an ambulance, get to the hospital, and there was nothing they could do. They said, you have gastritis, intestinal inflammation, IBS, don't we all? So I was like, okay, go home and just deal with it. So I had gone to a specialist. He does testing, and he says, Christine, I have some bad news. Your stomach lining is growing up into your esophagus to protect it from years of acid reflux. And anytime that happens, it's pre-cancer. what we're seeing in you is something we don't see in women that are 24. Usually we'll see it in people that are 75 and older. So the only thing we can do right now is monitor you, and should it become cancerous, we'll go in, we'll scrape it out, we'll do some chemotherapy and all this other stuff. In that, I was like, oh, wait a minute. My mind was like, wait a minute. Okay, my mind started to race. What else? What could we do? So I'm like, all right, doctor, isn't there a procedure, another pill? There's got to be something else. And he was like, no, honey, it's pre-cancer. So if it becomes cancer, we'll treat the cancer, but right now it's not. So right now there's nothing we can do. In that moment, I could feel myself detaching from the doctor because I was still like, help me, save me, tell me there's something, right? And he was like, there's nothing we can do, hands away, right? And this is energetically, of course, people do not obviously do this. And I could feel myself, so my head started to cycle. All right, who do you know? What do you know? What can you do? Blah, 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 blah. You're 24, you can't die. All of this stuff started to go through my head, like spin, 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 spin. Probably a couple of seconds until it went blank. Nothing, nada. Didn't know, no answers there. And while that happened, I could feel my soul sitting up in my body and moving forward. And I could clearly hear myself as if I could hear it as if it just happened, you know? You are well. Go off and allow your body to heal. And I was just like, okay. So I left the office, like, that's fine, I'm going to go do that. And and a few days later, somebody called me up and he said, Christine, your mom told me what was happening. I actually know somebody. I worked with her on Wall Street. She left because her son had a liver dysfunction, was told he'd never be normal. She left to go back to school. Here we go, Mama Bears. Studied nutrition, got a degree, completely recovered her son, who was told would never be normal. He's completely normal today and thriving because of this woman. And now she's coaching nutrition for, other people. And I said, that's my woman. When the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? This is the woman who reconnected me to my body. And basically, she just showed me things that I didn't know. I didn't know Diet Coke was bad. I didn't know that had chemicals that were killing. I thought they were killing me. I thought, yeah, whatever, that's healthy, right? So here's where we go when we keep giving our power away and we get so far away from it. We get to the place where we really don't know what we don't know. And sometimes, especially just as humans growing up in society with conditioning and being trained of these certain things, I just talked about this on a call today. Even in school, I was taught, like, here's a textbook you're going to read. At the end of the chapter, there'll be questions. Go back into the chapter and find your answers there. That's how we're taught. So it was always like, go back, search. The answer is in this. You got to find it. You read through it. You did whatever. Go back. And so the answers are not there in the book. The answers are not out there. We already have the answers. So it was like ridiculous. But that was my story. And when I was reconnected to this woman, when I found this mentor, I didn't even know at the time, like I said, I didn't even know what that meant. She's a nutrition coach. Like, here I am saying, you're going to get cancer. I'm going to go with it, but her story connected me to my story. And I said yes. And it completely changed my life, completely transformed me. And what happened was this too. The whole thing of what we also need to learn, we teach. So I was always giving my voice away. I would say things because I am an empath. So I would say things almost like I knew it would be best for somebody else, like I knew it would benefit them, so I would speak for them. I would stand up for them. But I wasn't doing that for myself. And it almost cost me my voice, my actual voice. They would have had to go in and take it out. And when you have the power of that, when it's in that kind of a situation, you don't need to let it get there. But I ignited my own purpose. I realized this is my message. This is what I'm meant to teach women. If we look out there, ladies, today, and we look in our world today, then what is the number one thing? There is like a space. It's a huge space. And the world is like suffering because we are not claiming our space, our voice, you know?
You know, I realized as you were talking, I got little snippets all over. And it's funny because I'm going to take time after we're off here, and I'm actually going, and I would love it if everybody did this. If you write down what you want. I mean, Christine and I do this, and other coaches, we do this all the time, but she ignited something in me. There's a few things that I really want that I haven't. I thought, oh, well, I'm too busy to focus on that. No. So I'm going to write down what I really want. And as we all do, in order to get from point A to point B, we find the means, we find the way. And the way also opens up to us very easily. So that's what I'm going to do. I challenge all of you to do the same thing. And let us know, write us. Let us know what your original point A was and how you got to point B, even if it was in a thought process to move it forward. Because this is powerful stuff. It really is. That's awesome, Christine. Thank you so much. You've inspired me on a couple of levels that I'll keep quiet for right now, just because I want to write them out and I want to get them,
Okay.
I want to nurture them. But we would love to hear from you guys about what your point A and then your point B is, because this is magnificent. This is what transformation is all about, is changing literally who we are. Wow. Thank you. That's a brilliant story. I didn't realize your whole complete story. That's amazing.
There's many levels of it. So, as I say that I went on, like there is the evolution too. And there is the, well, I'm not there yet, so I'm not going to share my story, but I keep having stories in my life that need to be shared, and so do you. So the other part would be, when you get clear on what you desire, also get clear on what is it that you are here to express. Where have you been silencing your voice? Because so many women come to me and they'll say, my voice crackles, or I feel like when I speak, people don't actually hear me or don't listen to me. They feel disconnected to their actual voice. So it's a huge way of expressing ourselves. And like I said, decades ago, it wasn't safe to express ourselves as women. It wasn't safe to speak up. And we went through this whole thing. Like I even look at my grandma's era, and everything was so like, cutesy, and you had to like really mold yourself into this being and woman, and the way you spoke, and I don't know, it just feels like that was part of the process, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm all about authentically, I don't ever give anybody, this is the way to do it. Authentically be you, and that's the way to do you. So get in touch with your voice, and really that's what I share with my clients. It's like, where are you giving your voice away? Where do you have really strong beliefs that you're not speaking about? Where don't you even express yourself with your spouse?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's so much of that happening.
Stop hiding.
Yes. Yeah.
When you said the husband thing, I, as we know, working with women, that's what it feels like at times. They're hiding from who they truly are and what they truly want from their spouse. And so, stop hiding. Wonderful.
Yeah, so as you're saying that, I'm getting this thing of like when women want to work with me, I'm sure it's true for you too, where they're like, oh, I have to go check with my husband. Let me go ask my husband. Let me see what my husband wants to say about, like, let me see what he has to say. And I'm sure you know this too, Mia. That's, again, giving the power away. And then, ladies, let's just be in reality, right? Let's get connected here to the earth, and the grounding of really what's happening is you're giving your power away, and then it pisses you off when he's like, no, I don't think so. We're not going to do that. What is that about? What is that really about? So I tell my ladies when they say that and they have that objection, like, I would love to work with you, Christine, but I don't think my husband will go for it. It's like, where do you stand? Because a woman in her power is going to express her voice powerfully. And her man, who is the divine masculine, I don't care who he is, he's got it in him. When you show up in your power, he has to meet you there in his power. So it sounds like this: honey, I have this program that I am so inspired about, that I am going to engage in and say yes to. Do I have your support with this? Absolutely.
That's awesome. And you know what? And my husband just walked in the office.
Of course. He heard us calling in the
That's
divine
right.
masculine here.
The divine masculine just entered. Woohoo!
He knows his place.
That's awesome. I love these
how it
universal things. Yeah, it's very cool.
This is how it works. No coincidence, right? No
That's
coincidence. Right. In fact, I've had times when I've been doing calls like this, talking about divine masculine. My husband will text me, and he never does that, and I'll call it out, ladies. Look, because this is really how it is. You have to know this first, because when you use your voice and you're like, honey. The thing is, when a woman says, oh, I have to ask my husband, she hasn't made the decision yet for herself. So let's be real about it. She's afraid. So she puts her husband right there in front of her, right? Like, oh, she's like, woo, she's talking to you. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. I'd like to, oops, wait, I don't know if I can do it. Not, Yeah.
You know, it's funny, when I was younger and married to my first husband, I felt that way, and I grew so much that, we ended up splitting up. That was just our thing. But it's funny, every man that's ever been with me since then knows I would never allow them to make a decision like that for me. I mean, because one, it's not a life, what I'm saying? It's not like I'm taking away their manhood. This is me. This is my creation. This is my divinity. And I love it when the spouse or the boyfriends, whoever you're with, and I don't mean at the same time having a boyfriend and a spouse, I mean either one. It's awesome when, sometimes I have to be careful there. It's awesome when they support you and when you feel that. When you're in a relationship where the man does stand up like that and is supportive, it's magnificent. You feel even more powerful. You are more powerful. It's brilliant. Well, thank you. This has been awesome. Now, one more quick thing. And we didn't see, Christine works for the magazine, everybody, because they know that this is a Bella Mia production here. So Christine is a writer, and she's brilliant, but we didn't get to talk about your free gift. Do you have a free gift for everybody?
I do,
I figured you did, because you're a second.
I have a free gift, absolutely. It is a Rock Your Voice session. So it is for the woman to experience her own voice, and sometimes it feels to the woman like it's for the first time that she's really feeling her voice. And what we do is we do this guided step meditation thing that we go into, and we connect to the voice, and then we talk about, we feel the power of it first. It's about 30 minutes, I think the session is. And then at the end, what we'll do is we'll uncover your underlying things that have kind of been your themes in your life, and that connects you to your bigger vision. So you'll actually leave knowing the kind of qualities of your voice and the flavor of what you are here to express, which is pretty cool, because you'll have a rockin' voice when you connect to that.
That's awesome. That's lovely, actually. It's awesome. I want to do it too.
I know, right?
Exactly.
It's so much fun.
I know.
Definitely.
It's
Welcome.
awesome. Thank you. And thank you for joining us. It's been awesome to have you on and for you to share everything. You're just so lovely. I've been enjoying it. I know everybody else has. Listening to your voice, sometimes I'm just like, when you were doing the process in the beginning, I wasn't asleep, obviously, but it was just so smooth. What's that word? It's just like you're being lulled, in grace. It's a beautiful feeling. So thank you. It's wonderful. So would you like to leave us with one last comment or something from your heart right now before we say goodbye?
Absolutely. I always love to express. So I really believe that what they say, the Dalai Lama, right? He says the the Western woman will save the world. And what I tell everyone is, ladies, we need to save ourselves first.
Absolutely. Amen to that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Christine. You're awesome.
Thank you, love. So are you.
Thank you. And thank you all. And we'll see you in another segment. Bye.